Yo, we back on.
Back on. All right, cool.
I'm waiting for Rose, and I already hit record, so we good. We Gucci. We good.
All right, where do we leave off at?
All right. Well,
remember you hit the record. You hit the record button.
Yeah, I hit that. So waiting for Rose to jump back in, but basically, I think for the audience, we have a new segment. I want to say for the audience, this is a new segment that AD came up with. Only reason why I say that is because I do produce another podcast that has a similar name to it, but you know.
Oh, really? You got another one called Disruptors?
Yeah, through my job.
Oh, snap. All right.
Yeah. Yo, salute, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the short of it is, the CEO does a podcast and basically I help produce it on his end. Yeah, man. And that's another, all right. So because we talked about COVID-19, that's another reason why I'm a little tight, because we were trying to do a podcast at Cannes. And now, I mean, I don't know if I would have went, but like if they needed somebody to run that shit, I'm sure they would have sent me. But now it's just like, all right, like maybe next year. I don't know.
Maybe next year.
Who knows?
I feel like every year the flu get updated like an iPhone. So, maybe not. We'll see, right?
Yeah, but actually, funny enough, I was just talking to somebody while we was setting this up, and I was like, damn, like the audio ain't great on this, but these Zoom meetings are actually pretty fucking convenient, honestly.
They very much so, bro. I mean, it's funny because it used to be Skype, right? Like everybody was using Skype back in the days. Or
yeah, Rose and I tested Skype, but the Zoom audio is pretty good though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I think for Zoom, I'm not sure if you had to. I don't know. I think Rose, you might be using your phone, but I think for Skype, it felt like there were a lot of steps you had to do to get the audio, versus like on Zoom when you record it automatically uploads it to your laptop.
Yeah, right now I'm doing it from my iPad. I'm like, been this whole time I've been on my iPad with the Zoom.
All right, bet. So yo, just want to do a quick round check about who's on the pod, who we got on this joint.
Yeah, so again, this is your boy AD, all the way from ATL by way of Decatur, Greater Bay in the house.
My fault, fellas, I was on mute.
Oh, good.
It's like a conference call, right? Like at work. That's like, but nah, man, your boy Easy Rose, man, save your money, lock your windows.
Yo, it's the one and only Tony Stallion, aka the chef. We still cooking up the pods, serving it up one at a time, 2 for $5 during this COVID-19 era. All right, so AD, yo, I think you explained it a little bit to me 2 recordings ago, but if you could kind of jump through what this new segment is, and we'll jump into it.
Yeah, so I think our new segment is called loosely called a disruptors, right? And I know everybody like to use this term loosely, but if you think about like what a disruptor is, certain, I guess, companies have been known to be disruptors. So that's everything from, Apple when they first put out the iPod to now Uber. I don't even say now, Uber was like a disruptor for quite a bit of time, or even anything around like new media such as social media and podcasting, whatever, right? Like those disrupted like the entire industry, like Netflix disrupting like what we call, TV or whatever. Now it's like over the top streaming. But I think disruptors going forward are going to be something that's bigger than just these product or service offerings, right? Like, I mean, you can almost consider that COVID-19 is its own disruptor, mostly because, well, it kind of disrupted the global economy, right? If you think about like what's been going on now for the last, I would say probably since, late last year in China, and now what's going on here in America, like this pandemic is becoming its own disruptor. And what's going to happen once we get past this pandemic is that, industries are going to be a lot different going forward, right? So look at what's happening now, right? A lot of people is like kind of looking at like COVID-19 as a hoax or something that feels conspiracy theory or feel like an event in the lab, however you want to dice it, right? But you kind of have to start taking things pretty serious when certain things get canceled, right? Airlines are shutting down. Sporting events are like no longer happening. You can't even go to your local coffee shop, right? So it's like everything from like things locally that you may deal with all the way up to like service industry to like supply chains have all been disrupted by a pandemic, right? And if you think about that disruption in like our everyday lives, we now had to more or less pivot to do certain things. So that's everything from e-learning with your kids, right? So using iPads, smartphones, or laptops, and using software such as Zoom or web conferences or WebEx or whatever, or Google Hangouts to more or less do remote learning, right? To like even live concerts via social media. I'm sure you guys got a chance to check out with, people like John Legend, to Erykah Badu, to a lot of just, celebrities or musicians like Alicia Keys have been putting on concerts directly from the comfort of their home using webcams, right, on their phones. To even like these virtual happy hours, right, that people normally can't get with each other now in person. So people are doing group happy hours via, again, like some type of video conferencing like software. And potentially doing virtual tours, right? So you just think about what this means going forward. I was telling a friend of mine who runs this experience called Black Gotham Experience, Kamau, shout out to you, that, going forward, we may have to start incorporating this type of experience into our business. Not to say that it's going to replace your business completely, but I can see how e-learning would become part of curriculum for a school system. Like, what if a school system decided on Fridays that you just stay home and learn remotely? That could happen. That may not be the best thing for certain students who don't have a whole lot of access to internet and phones.
Right.
But if you made that widely available to everybody, a school system can probably save money by like not letting people come in on a Friday, right? That's something to think about. Or this idea that a artist, a musician, now don't have to sign a deal with like Live Nation to actually put on a concert. They can just do some type of setup wherever they at a sound stage or in a home, and do a Patreon, and boom, there they go, doing a concert remotely from the comforts of everybody's home. All the way down to like, like again, like, certain things like tours or giving like teaching ideas or whatever. But I do think that this COVID-19 has more or less caused a disruption in how we go about our day-to-day lives. But on the other end of that, I do think it's going to more or less show us the weakness of our lives, but also show we can improve upon. So, right. And opportunities, right?
I mean,
so,
yeah.
Think about World War II. World War II and all these wars, unfortunately, brought a lot of new innovations. So when things get kind of crazy for human beings, one thing we do well, in most cases, is pivot or adapt. And that happens by coming up with new ways of doing shit.
Right.
So that's my point of view on this idea of disruptors. It's no longer about like these products, but it's about more like societal disruption.
Yeah.
And what are the adverse effects of what happens post these things?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good topic to keep continue to monitor things and people who are disrupting their industries and how they're, like you said, pivoting. I was writing some notes down as you were talking. I think Rose has said this on the pod once before, but it's also I'm bringing some terms that I learned in college back in the university days of the SWOT analysis. And I think
to our listeners, you may want to explain that, but I know a lot of people.
Oh yeah, no, I'm explaining it. So basically, I had to Google it just to give myself a reminder. But a SWOT analysis is basically a strategic planning technique used to help a person or organization or whoever identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of a business or competition. So, AKA what I call SWOT, SWOT. And I think to your point, I also wrote down like disruptors show us the weakness. Well, that was kind of a negative way of looking at it, but like disruptors kind of show us where, in a positive way, where the opportunity is. And I think a lot of the stuff you mentioned, like Uber, for example, is, I mean, I know it didn't come from this, but like for people like us, it was just like, we couldn't catch a cab. And like a lot of times cabs weren't coming to Brooklyn. I remember a time when they were not leaving the city. And like now it's like you said, you know, you can catch a cab on your phone. Same thing with I've noticed that a lot of stuff you mentioned too, like virtual happy hours at work, people appreciating FaceTime, not the app, but like actual FaceTime with people. And it's just like, yo, like I remember my job did a virtual happy hour with people, and it's just like, oh, it gives you a nice 30 minutes to kind of chat with people, see how they're doing and see how it is, because it is also a crazy time. And I think this is a good thing to keep monitoring. I think I want to say, like, I think right now we mentioned it a recording ago, but Zoom and virtual meetings like this or meeting platforms are killing it now, because you're doing it for a lot of things, like to stay connected. So I mean, I want to see who's gonna take it to the next level, you know?
Right.
Yep. In addition to that, like I know we all spoke about this, but one other thing that's like really, really, really turning shit up is just like mobile payments.
Yeah.
You know, yep, man.
That's
like,
true. That's true. Yeah.
Cash App, Venmo, like, you know, all sorts of mobile payments. I mean, like you go to a bodega. I think we talked about this yesterday slightly, but you go to a bodega, the guy behind the counter, like the clerk, he has on gloves and he's taking cash, like cash currency or like, you know, coin currency, and you know it's just changing everything. So I remember I was talking about it yesterday, but like what happens to the hip hop money phone, right? Like that shit is gonna go away, bro. What happens in a strip club? Like I mean, you know, there are other outlets for that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, using cash as a product, or using cash as a prop rather, or just a token of success, that, you know, that's a huge disruptor, especially
right.
Yeah. Now you got a point there, because like I said in the chat too, like everything I've been buying, I've been trying to be conscious of hand-to-hand exchanges, and like I've been just using Apple Pay at everything and not even touching whatever. Like the only thing I'd probably touch is maybe the bag, but like limiting how much, you know, my hand is touching the money. Like I've had cash, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna use Apple Pay because it's just easier, quicker, and you have less hand interaction with someone, you know, especially in a time like this.
Yeah, and you know, for sure, like, and this is something that we've seen coming for years now, like just, you know, trying it out and testing it. But now if it's ever more clear, right now is the time. And like, you know, it's you know, as you said, man, we're in a crazy time, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I think
one more thing I want to call out too.
No, go ahead.
So also too, like my driver's license, like I'm sure people know this or maybe not know this, like I don't even fuck with the DMV, bro. Like I've got my driver's license. I just got my new driver's license.
Oh, you finally got it?
For online, bro. Like I paid $17 to get it back. Even, you know, taking my driver's test, I had to get like an optics, like through Cohen's vision. Sorry, like a visions test. And you go to the doctor. They take the actual test. They write down their code number, and then voila, you shoot that out in an email, or rather on a virtual channel, and you get your license. Like you don't even have to go to the DMV. Like, so I mean, all of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, mine's in typically.
Honestly, I would love to see a DMV fucking fall. The brick and mortar. Yo, bro.
Don't you want to kill jobs, Tony?
Yo, man. like my man said in Rocky, if he dies, he dies. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just gotta keep it pushing. Cause bro, last time I went to the DMV, literally to do the same, like, all right, Rose sent it out in mail, got it back in whatever amount of weeks or time. Boom, boom. I did the same process. Except for I didn't have to, I was just renewing it. So I wasn't renewing my license. I was just getting a new one because of the whole travel thing that's going on. And I was in the DMV for like 5 hours, bro. Literally just waiting to pay for to get my ID and get out of there. How is that efficient at all? like, come on, man. Like places like the DMV, anything, or the post office, they need robots bad, bro.
Damn. Tony want to automate the world.
Bad. They need robots bad.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, man. And in McDonald's too? Come on, man.
Well, McDonald's have already had that. Well, at least they've had the touch screen, kiosks now for at least 5-6 years. At least a certain McDonald's, not all of them, but that's.
I mean, I went to McDonald's the other day. They had people in there. I was like, all right. I mean,
but I'm talking about I'm just talking about just ordering your food now. You don't need a person to do that now.
Hell no.
It's just deep, bro, and it's gonna get automated more and more.
So real quick, in terms of disrupting, is there any industry that you didn't list here that you would want to see disrupted that maybe we haven't seen anything happen with it yet? I know, Rose, you kind of mentioned, I don't know if that's really an industry, but going into the DMV or like getting ID and paperwork. So I don't know what industry that is, but whatever.
Voting. I mean, what about voting, right? Like,
voting. That could be a touchy one.
Well, I mean, and I know voting is different from one township, to state or whatever. But it's weird because we just had some primaries this past week and some got postponed because of COVID-19. But I do think somebody's going to have to figure out a universal way for people to be able to vote in 2020, in the new, the new millennium, new century, that doesn't necessarily require you to physically have to be there. I know you can do absentee voting, but I don't know if that's like a blockchain approach to this or that's some kind of like, digital, I don't know, some type of digital means of doing this. But yeah, in the case of a pandemic or some type of natural disaster, how do you, keep, free elections open and accessible to people? Like, that's a good question. But I do think that this does expose a lot,
That is true. Yo, Rose, if you don't got nothing else to say about that, I do have like 3 other things I was writing down.
Just something real quick. I'm interested in seeing like the impact of just like doctor visits, like kind of like that health industry, how that could be impacted. Another thing I was thinking about is just like the construction industry. I don't really know how that can be, executed as simple or as easily without people. Like, I know it would probably require less people, but I think to some capacity, like people would have to be involved. But
yeah, I think with architecture, it becomes a safety thing if you have less people. But that's interesting. Those are super interesting. So, yo, real quick, because I don't want to forget. I wrote it down because I didn't forget. I wanted to say this on the last record, but I thought it was pretty interesting from like a pandemic standpoint of how the government, not to be a government conspiracist, but like industries that say things can't be done until it has to be done. For example, I'm not a AOC fan, but I saw something in the news the other day that said basically the same amount of money that we were asking for the Green New Deal that they said we didn't have. Now all of a sudden, that the same amount or a number that was close to that has been, we've been getting from the government because we've been trying to like help industries from obviously falling apart. I just thought it was interesting that like all the things that we've been saying industry wise and stuff that like like, all right, simple example. I'll give you an example from my job. Obviously my job and my agency, we work from home this week, but like 2 weeks before that, they kept pushing like, oh, like, just try to stay apart from each other. They kept coming up with a lot of excuses for why we couldn't work from home until it had to be done.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you just gotta be pushed.
Yeah. So I think, sorry, that wasn't really a question. That was more so like, it'll be interesting to see industries and things in the world that before COVID, we were saying like, oh, like this can't be done. It's not doable, to like, oh shit, like we had to do it. But so two last statements talking about politics. I think the last pod we recorded since then, like literally all the Dems have dropped. So
Joe Biden's the top runner. That's wild, right?
Joe Biden versus Bernie Sanders.
Joe Biden is shit.
Joe Biden's son smokes crack.
God damn. Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm just saying.
Hey, look, it's publicly documented. He liked to be up in them strip clubs too. So I don't know if we want that kind of shit happening now in the White House. But all right, continue.
Damn.
Joe Biden's son smokes crack. Damn. That sounds like a T-shirt.
That is. Yo, you can make a lot of money with that and put "Vote Trump" on the back. I mean, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do that, but that's okay.
Yo, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I think Bloomberg should have taken that approach. Knocked out his people first. Say, yo, Joe Biden's son smokes crack.
Nah.
Vote for Mini Mike.
Yo, he should have ran with that Mini Mike thing. But anyway, honestly, if Joe Biden gets the nomination, it reminds me of George W. Bush versus John Kerry in 2004. And I just feel like Joe Biden is going to go against Trump and he's going to lose. Like, I know.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I know Trump is still 50% approval
real
rate.
Weak now, bro. And
but that's what everybody thought Bush looked weak after 9/11 and all that stuff. And
I just think now America is getting, I mean, it's what you just said, Tony and Rose. It's like, people change. They don't change until they have to change, right? Like, so we got this guy in office, and now people are seeing that, oh, so you could have probably prevented a lot of this COVID shit proactively because you was informed about something back in January, and then you got rid of the pandemic, subject matter experts group, whatever, like from 2018. It's kind of like, once you start putting people in harm's way like that, then people are going to start questioning, like, your real leadership. He hasn't had to really lead, right, since he's been here. Things were just kind of already set up and just run on his own. Now that the economy's fucked up, and it may be like this for quite some time, and, the people just seeing, like, his leadership's, like, lack thereof, for that matter, they might go with somebody different, bro.
And lack of empathy, too.
Yeah,
I think this would be.
Well, I mean, he's never had empathy. Let's be clear about that. But just his lack of real leadership in a time of crisis. Yeah, I just think that people may choose a whole nother alternative just because.
And then talking about that, man, made me think about when he was in Puerto Rico throwing out paper towels, and the whole fucking country needs paper towels and tissue. Right. Yo, this shit is wild, bro. It's
wild as shit, man.
Buckle up. All I'm gonna say to y'all, buckle up. This shit is about to get crazy.
November is gonna be an interesting time. All right, last one. Y'all taking that Trump stimulus package if he send out them checks?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's my money.
What you mean? Hell yeah, I'm taking that.
My money, bro. So,
I
don't know about you, but
hell yeah, I'm taking that shit. I just
my money.
Ask,
Talk heavy, AD. Talk heavy.
Yeah, it's my money. Fuck
Cash out. Yeah, it just reminded me of that Dave Chappelle skit when I know it's not reparations, but it just reminded me of that reparations skit. If you don't know, just YouTube Dave Chappelle reparations, and you'll see when all the black people got paid. That shit. But All right, man. I think that's good, man. I think we good to wrap it up, man.
So this is the first Ad Bros virtual record. I think it went well.
Yeah, we got 3 records out of it, so I'll split it up to part 1, 2, and 3, and go from there.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Yo, again, let's. I would like you 2 fellas to sign us out if you can.
But that'd be Rose, not me.
Okay.
Nah, all good, man. I'm Ad Bros. The people out there, we going through this with y'all. You know what I mean? So as always, no soft talk when it comes to telling the truth.
Yes,
yeah, keep your head up, people. We're gonna get through this, man. It's just hiccups, and this happens, So we'll be all right.
This little situation, man. It's bigger than a little situation, but we're gonna get through this, man.
Yeah, man. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. All right.
Sugar free.
Peace.
Sugar free, baby. Sugar free. Let's go.